After 2 months in Sydney, we decided to go on another adventure. In November, we left for Auckland, New Zealand.
We had planned a 1.5 week long road trip in New Zealand on the North Island. Starting off, we visited a huge garden where they had different areas for different countries and centuries. After that, we did the mandatory thing when you are in New Zealand. We went to Hobbiton.
From Hobbiton movie set we drove to Rotorua. We visited hot springs, redwood forests and more.
So you think you already seen? My eyes say I'm ready, but I know I'm not. So you think you already seen? My ears say I'm ready.
Outside Rotorua is Waiotaupu, a thermal wonderland with 18 square kilometers of geothermal activity. If you ever go there, you don't have to bring swimwear. We did, but it's about 100 degrees Celsius in the water, so you never get to swim.
Race for the stay away.
When we arrived at the next stop, Taupu, we finally got to use our swimwear in a hot spring.
So you think you already seen? My eyes say I'm ready, but I know I'm not.
It was time for Tongariro Alpine Crossing. Mount Tongariro is one out of 4 active volcanoes in Tongariro National Park. The hike was 19 kilometers. In Waitomo, we hoped to spot some glowworms without going on a tour. We hiked looking for them during daytime, a mistake. It was not a famous place for spotting them. So after climbing into caves and looking everywhere, we gave up. But it was cool anyway.
We tried our luck with regularity and found what we were never meant to be. Grab me by the hand with nothing but the arrogance of man. This naive type of ideology is more than we could ever really need. And though you're away, nothing is
Back in Auckland, we prepared for our next destination.
And though you're away, nothing has changed. We always made it out, even when I'm old.
The next destination was Vietnam.
In Hanoi, we were shocked about how crowded it was. We got used to it and managed to walk around the old town by foot. It's where you will find all the popular tourist attractions. The famous Hoi An Lake, water puppet theaters and Woman of War Museum.
After a couple of days in Hanoi, we got on a local bus heading towards Halong Bay. It was interesting that the bus driver, he just stops whenever he feels like it, and there's no timetable, but we got there eventually. After this bike ride, Ivar got sick, and we had booked a trip to Halong Bay. Yeah, you have to get on a boat to explore those beautiful islands. So I went on this trip alone, but I met a new friend from South Korea. I don't remember her name or anything, so contact me if you know her.
You know that you've got a bike, and darling, don't you come find me. Now that your old heart shine, and all is cast out to sea, and you are what you imagined, and you are what you imagined.
After Halong Bay, we wanted to go by train to Hoi An, but since I was sick, I wasn't really in a condition to sit on a train for 21 hours. So we took a flight to Hoi An, and after a while, Julia also got sick.
I try to run away the story. It's only halfway over. She brings the adolescence out of me. In her hand she holds a clover. You know that you've got a bite.
Hoi An was a nice place, except that we were sick most of the time.
Shattered hearts on broken
On a bike ride in the vegetable village Trakke, we got invited from a local to eat at her house, which kind of was a restaurant. She showed us how to prepare the dish Morning Glory.
though it's always given to me. Social scene, the fire disease never let me go. And I can't dream to let you know, 'cause I can't bear to let this go.
The next flight took us to Ho Chi Minh City, earlier Saigon. We booked a guided trip to the biodiverse Mekong Delta.
Dark colors in your eyes, 'cause I don't wanna see you cry.
The coconut shell. Yeah, the cover of the coconut.
day after that, we visited the Ho Chi tunnels, remainings from the Vietnamese War.
Throw it away, and I can't live another day to know that you're not home. I can't scream to let you know that I can barely let this go. To all the colors in your eyes, to all the colors in your eyes. I don't wanna see you cry. Have you
We spent time with my friend Emma, who used to work in Sweden, but now she lives in Saigon with her family. They cooked amazing Vietnamese food for us and taught us a lot.
After 2 weeks, our visa ran out and we headed west.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at Don Mueang International Airport, Thailand.
From Bangkok, we traveled 6 hours with taxi, bus, ferry and tuk-tuk. And then we arrived on Chang.
After a snorkeling tour, where I taught a girl from Japan to swim, we left Koh Chang for another island, Koh Samet.
It sure was a weird feeling to swim in the Gulf of Thailand on Christmas Day, but we have to admit it was really nice.
We left Koh Samet to have one last night in Bangkok before heading back to Sweden. We visited Golden Buddha and had some great vegan food. And then we went back to Sweden. Walking back to happiness, like oh yeah, yeah. Walking back to happiness with you.